What would it be like in your life every day to live without electricity? We all get used to having all of our luxuries, and we think that we deserve these things. We think that these things are just always supposed to be here. Now, what's all this stuff about Kentucky Jello Storm? And I keep talking about ice, like this right here. Jelly. I called that ice. And what about this? Gel. And here is a word we've had before, helado. Here I am, slicing the plátano into the Jello. And here are two ice cubes, we would call them hielos, lying there on the platillo next to the Jello. Next to the Jello are hielos. You're catching on now, aren't you? Look at all of these words here, because it's the beginning of each word that puts this whole thing together and reveals the secret behind the title, Kentucky Jello Storm. Now look at them. Gel, 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 el for helado, and hiel. That last word, hiel, comes from el, the word right above it, from helado. They're the same thing. Let's take it from the top. Gel, 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 el, hiel. Now, when we put that H-I-E there, many people would pronounce that hielo. So it's almost like Jello. At any rate, it all means the same thing. Frozen or ice. Now the following pictures will show you what you would have seen 5 days before we went down to take pictures of the Kentucky Jello Storm. The trees are covered with jello, and then on top there's a lot of snow. So these pictures are going to be from the Indiana-Kentucky border. And then when we drove down and we talked to Carlos and his grandson Corey, down there they didn't have the snow. They just had the jello all over the trees. That's the one I would like to have a nice slow pan of the whole thing.
Whoa, I never got... Okay.
I want you all to pay attention to how some of the people speak. In this case, people from Kentucky. Oftentimes they would describe themselves as hillbillies, and maybe you might think you'd want to make a funny comment about hillbillies, but actually the people we're going to meet are gentlemen, and they're intelligent. It looks like a tornado that just went along clipping every tree it could find in this place. Kind of reminds me of Mount St. Helens.
But I mean, the treetops here for a while, when they was, you can see the tops of the trees, how their limbs just broke off of them.
Yeah.
And it fell last week, be 2 weeks. This coming Monday, it'll be 2 weeks that we've been out of electricity. So we've had a pretty rough time. Of course, we've got heat. We've got food in the freezer and everything. We've cooked on a wood stove, and we've made it good.
you've got stuff in your freezer and your refrigerator. How are you keeping that cold?
I got a gasoline generator that I keep it charged up with. I grew up with kerosene lamp stuff when I was a kid, and I remember those times, you know.
Did you have electricity when you were a kid?
No, we didn't. That's before electricity come through this part of the country.
So you grew up here?
Yeah, about half a mile up the road up here, a little less. Yeah.
And right behind us is a power line down. What's going on here? The utility pole is broken.
Yeah.
How did that break?
Well, I think there was some trees fell on the line over on the other side of the next post. And I think that is what caused this, because the line broke, and I think that's what let it come and fall this away. It's pretty well fixed the whole thing, you know.
It may be the temperature out here. I've already forgotten your grandson's name.
Corey Krogan.
Yeah. It's all these C's, Carlos.
Yeah.
And Corey and Krogan.
Krogan, right.
Corey, are you bored now? Are you doing anything during the day?
No, besides sleeping, that's all I have. Catch up.
Too cold to do anything else.
Yeah. Are you a TV watcher, video game player?
Basically about equal.
Yeah, okay. So you, I mean, electricity does change things more for you than for your grandpa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you bored, sir?
No, it don't bother me that much. It's been so cold, you know, and nothing. Of course, I raise a big garden in the springtime, and but as soon as the weather warms up a little bit, I'm going to clean my yard up and get all the limb stuff out. Of course, I've got a tractor. I pull a lot of that stuff off, you know. When this first started, until I got a generator, we had coolers. We'd put stuff outside, and it would stay froze outside.
You really were doing that.
Yeah, we sure was.
Well, around Indianapolis yesterday, we had about 11 below. Last night.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
There's a little tote thing out there that we had some stuff in on that old picnic table.
The white container?
Uh-huh.
Yes, so this has been your refrigerator, whereas if this would have happened in the summer, well, then you wouldn't have had an ice storm.
Wouldn't have had an ice.
Hey, we're getting to the bottom of this real fast.
Yeah.
Everybody's helping one another.
Oh.
Yesterday,
That's what brings people together.
It does. That's what I told my mother the other night. Well, my youngest sister and her husband stayed with us for 5 days and nights, and we were watching the kerosene lamp, and I in the house and talking, you know, and I was just looking at that kerosene lamp, and I said, you know, I can see now why that back years ago when we had kerosene all the time, families was so much closer than they are today. Because you could see, you know, you sit around and talk, and how you didn't snatch.
And you know, Carlos, that is exactly why in a lot of Spanish-speaking countries, people are still close together. They've got to make life happen together.
Right. My grandmother and them had a coal stove, and they would take corn cobs where they'd shell corn for their chickens, and they would keep it in a little can of coal oil or kerosene, whichever way you want to call it, and they would let it soak in it, and then the next morning when they'd get up for to start build a fire, then they would light that corn cobs, and then the coal oil would start to flaming, and then it would catch the coal fire.
Bet you didn't know that, most of you anyway. Hasta luego. Thanks again for talking with us, guys.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Well, I'm glad I stopped and asked you what you was doing, or if you was looking for somebody.
Yeah, because we look a little suspicious around here.
Well, not necessarily, but anyway.
I see. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Corey, Carlos, thanks again.
Okay, y'all take care then.
Perfect stuff.
Except now we got tons of your windshield so dirty.
Yeah, this stuff is reaching way out. I almost feel like it's gonna scrape the car. Get those for me? Wow. 30 minutes, huh?
Yep.
Oh man.